Hello, it's me. Sorry I'm so late. I went for a walk and I left late because I was getting lunch for my one kiddo, and um, I had to shower because I didn't want to smell myself doing readings. So, okay, just opening my swoon. I don't know, have y'all had this? It'll probably come out that like in like 10 years, they'll be like, oh, that whatever the fuck the sweetener is. It's not the stevia. It's going to kill us all. All right. So you sent a donation. Okay. I saw I had Regine sent one, and I saw somebody else. And Infinity, I got yours. How are you, Patricia? Okay. So I'll do Regine's in a little bit because she's not going to be here today. So how is everybody? We'll do the if you guys want to hang out, we can do like the general what do you call it? Like what's going on in the world today. Now, I saw last week someone asked me about earthquakes, and I said where I saw it. I'll like have to find it, and but they asked about earthquakes, and I saw one in Japan and then one in Maine or whatever. And I saw a video about these, I think they're called oarfish. There's some fish that come from like the really deep, and usually when they start showing up at the surface, that means there's going to be big earthquakes. And they saw it near La Jolla, California. So not that I want that prediction to be right, because that's not great for a lot of reasons. Hello, say hello if you've popped in. It's good to see you all. Really, I'm just looking at myself. So it's nice if you type. So I feel like it's a little more interactive. I'm wearing my strawberry shortcake t-shirt today. Very spiritual. So Infinity, if you're here and you want to ask your question, you can ask your question. Or if anybody, you made it to Vancouver. Are you from there originally, or tell me? I know I'm the psychic. I should know that, but you're from Ottawa. Do you like Vancouver? I've never been to Canada, so I don't know, but do you like it there? It looks beautiful. I have a friend from high school. He was like in my close friend group, and he lives, I think, just outside of Vancouver. His wife is from Canada. I read for you a year ago. Was I right about the timing? Was I right about any of it? I'm hoping that because you came back, that means I was. Like I always, like it's always a good feeling, just like somebody doesn't even have to tell me the validation if they're just rescheduling or like, doing a new reading or another reading with me, because I think, oh, like I did something right if you're coming back, right? Hi, Julia. She's been so excited about her abilities. She is so keen and already having some communication. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that so much. That's so beautiful. I was so. Oh, well. I've been wrong. Like I had a friend who, she was asking about moving to Hawaii, and I saw her and I saw the month that she moved, but I was wrong on the year. So she was like, I was like, yeah, I see you moving and whatever. And then it turned out it wasn't that one. It was like a year after that. So that's okay. We can never be 100%. So are you enjoying Vancouver? Do you have a job there? And please don't take it personal if I don't remember. It's really like, I read for a woman who I actually met in person. I did I went, and it was like 4 friends paid me to come to their house and do readings. And so I did like half-hour readings for each one of them. And I kind of knew her name, but the picture with her didn't like she has her hair much shorter in real life, like versus the pictures from an older picture. You want a bookkeeping business? Oh, nice. Wanted to know when I'm moving into my own place, currently renting a room right now. And so, hang on. I've always been 100% with you, Julia. Thank you. No, what I was going to say is like, when she scheduled a private reading with me, and I was like, I know you. I couldn't place her. And then she was like, oh yeah, we did. And it like, she had to jog my memory. And I was like, please don't take that personally. Like I literally, if I don't remember I'm going to change to be honest, my event rates need to go up because it just totally zaps me. To where like literally for a couple of days afterwards, I need to like just chill and I also feel like I've got to find a better way to ground myself before I get in my car. Cause I'm not unsafe, but, it is like just being in a whole different world. Okay. Infinity, yeah, Infinity, are you still here? What's your question? Hi, McKeegan. How are you? McKeegan had an awesome the manifesting thing. Can I tell them? Because since it kind of came up along on here, that way it will give you guys like, oh, this thing does work. I'll be obsessively drinking that until I'm done with it. It's just weird. Sorry, I won't guzzle it in front of you. Infinity, are you here? Okay, so McKeegan's story is this, and then I'm just waiting for, I don't know if Patricia, did you pay for a reading? I'm happy to answer the question. Just okay, so did you pay to my old one? Did it have my picture or a butterfly? I gotta change the things on here now to go with my new. Okay, so while I'm waiting it had my picture or a butterfly? I'm only giggling because I'm like, my picture or a butterfly? It's like, yes. So, and that could just be timing. It's weird. Whatever. I only ask because it's not coming up. So sometimes there's a delay or, okay. So McKeegan had come on here, I guess he said about a year ago, and was like wanting a new job. And we were talking about manifesting and how do you go about that? Especially if you're really unhappy in your job. And I had said to him, like, don't just go, I want a new job, or like, I've got a new job, I'm so happy about it. Because with that gap there, like from being somewhere you're not happy, like being in a job that you're really happy at and you love it, like you have no control then of how it comes about. So that might mean you get fired and then you're like forced to go out and find this job. And like, that may not be a comfort zone for you. Maybe you don't have the, the little stash of money to like keep you afloat if that job isn't there right away. So what I had told him was like, it was something along the lines of like, I'm so grateful for the smooth and easy transition from one job to the next. I'm so grateful that it was like not stressful at all. And so he said he made it through one set of layoffs and he was still on and he was fine, blah, blah, blah. And then, through my link in the email, it's not showing up yet. Oh, wait. Oh, you did. You sent it way earlier. I got it. Okay. You actually sent it before Regine. I'm sorry. I didn't see that. For some reason, the notification only showed up for Regine and for Infinity and not you. So I will answer it. Let me just finish the story and then I will answer your question. So, then he said, he sent me a message through, through that Instagram place. And he said that I guess there had been a second round of layoffs. And because he had been saying that, he's like, his whole group got laid off except for him. And so he's sort of looking at it now like, oh, the universe listens, and he's feeling like more grateful about it. Am I right on that? And I just thought that like that's like such a beautiful example of like you don't really fully like you have control, but like sometimes there's little things that come up, and if you don't kind of cover it, it might happen in a not great way. So if you're looking for a new job, or if you're looking for a new house, or if you're wanting something, like add that in, that it's like smooth and easy, stress free, no problem. So that like you don't have what is that stone? There's some stone. I have some of it. Maybe that's not telling of that. I don't know what it is. But it's like apparently it's very pricey. I guess I mean, yes, I spent some money on it, but I have a very small piece, so it's not like I broke the bank on it by any means. I don't know if anybody knows this, but it was like going around. Anyway, so the point is like that like supposedly causes like massive change up. Like working with Kali does that too. She's kind of comes in and like just steamrolls through the bullshit. Regine, you're here. Okay. So no worries. Infinity, hi, you're here. No worries. Okay, so now we'll get started with the questions. Patricia wanted to know when is she moving into her own place? She's currently renting right now a room. I honestly feel like you'll be there for about 6 months, and not because I feel like it's more about like it ends up being not so bad of a place, and it's more about just saving money. And I just feel like and not finding the right place opening up just when you want it to. Like it's like that. Like, well, there are some places and I like them and they're okay, but I'm not in love with them, and I'd rather stay where I'm at and save money and like wait for the perfect place to show up. I also feel like I keep seeing like I feel like there's going to be stairs in your apartment and lighter colored wood. So I guess they call it blonde wood floors. Not with the orangey undertone, more of like the natural kind of color. And like lots of sunlight, lots of natural light. And I keep seeing, I don't know if you have a green thumb, but I keep seeing like pothos ivy and things like that, like plants, greenery. You're looking to buy a condo. So that might make sense having stairs in it then. And that might be why I don't feel like you're in a rush to get it. Like it's like I want it to be right. So I'd rather stay and have like save money than like just push to find a place. Yeah. And I feel like I'm going to say this, the stairs, like I see the stairs going up along a window. Like, so those stairs are along a wall versus like, I mean, are most stairs are along a wall, I guess, except for unless you live in a palace. Even then they might be along a wall. But when I'm looking at it, there's a wall to my right, but it's not a full wall. Like there's windows that go like kind of up the stairs. Squamish. So I don't know if they're going to be your plants or if when you're looking at the place you see the plants, but there's a lot of see a lot of plants in the house. Look, I matched my dragon's egg. I can't see any of the rest of the place though. That's all they're showing me is like these stairs and this window. And like it just is the feeling that there's a lot of natural sunlight. I'm kind of looking around a little bit, and it feels it's not totally open concept, because I'm like, if I'm standing and the stairs are here and I'm looking around, there's a little bit of a wall here, but then there's a large open door, like open walk through, pass through. It's not technically a doorway because there's no door on it. And I can see through to another area in the back. Again, it feels like it's hardwood floors throughout. I don't feel like it's all carpet. And I'm seeing kind of higher ceilings. Um, oh, that's awesome. Um, I started doing these hemisync meditations because it kind of came across my feed because I get all kinds of weird stuff. And so I get like the alien stuff and conspiracy theories and like all because I listen, I entertain them because I think that if you like it's not that I'm like dive deep in, I'm like, this is true, whatever, but I'm always curious what people's thoughts are and like what's the potential for that and what's the connection. So and the gateway experience were these it was created by this guy Monroe who has the Monroe Institute. You can look at this all up. Worked with the CIA, and I guess it was to like teach astral projection, remote viewing. I'm not really 100% sure on that, but you can find like the documents on the government websites like that are have been unsealed, blah blah blah. But I thought like, oh, I wonder what this is. So I started, and then I started looking at like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I think I have an interesting take on it because I feel like the idea is to learn to connect with something higher than you. Like, you can connect with aliens or whatever beings you want to, right? So, I'm I've I did the fourth tape on my walk today, which people are like, why would you meditate on your walk? It's sort of like I can connect him. I can connect him when I just am doing everything. So I just thought, well, I just want to kind of listen to it and see what it is like in a conscious state. Not because I'm scared of it or anything, just because like then I have some feedback on it. I visualized a place with plants and how you described it. This is so great. Yay! So like, but the truth is like 6 months isn't that far out. Because if you think about time to look for stuff plus contracts and everything else, like 6 months is not that far out. I asked just now a square footage. I don't know about meters because I'm American and we of course have to do things differently than like literally the entire world. But I got 1,300 square feet, which is a pretty good sized condo. Maybe up to 1,500, but I don't know. So I don't know what that is in meters because I think the rest of the world does meters. Okay. So um so keep doing what you're doing. 13 is a lucky number for you. Fabulous. It's a good number for me too. So so it's 23. So I was like, I have a few weird ones. Okay. So the HemiSync stuff. I'm recommending it to you guys to do this because I also don't think you need to get super stuck in. So I'm on tape 4. I had some people comment on videos I did on TikTok that they were like stuck on tape 1. And as I'm like going through, I'm like, don't feel like you have to do it perfect to get through it and keep moving on. Just like do it maybe for like a week or 2 of each one and then like bounce forward to the next one. Don't get stuck. Don't like be like, I need to be here for a year and like just keep going because I think you're getting stuck in needing to be present in a moment. But the one I did today I thought was cool because it kind of lined up with the whole idea of like looking at your belief systems and like reworking them and letting them go because there was like this. So you visualize first, this is tape 4. First you visualize like he calls it what's he called it? It's a box. I can't remember what a kind of box it is, but it's like basically you put all your cares, worries, and concerns in this box. Like any kind of the shit that's bothering you or that you're afraid of in life, whatever that's weighing heavy on you, can be a person, can be experience, whatever. Put it in that box, visualize it and close it. So then like you're not stuck with it. And then you go through this breathing technique where you like hum at the end. They call it resonance, like vibrational resonance, where you're like matching the resonance. And then you do a visualization of, they call it a balloon around you. And it's like basically visualizing light coming up out of your head and like basically falling down like a waterfall all the way around you, and then wrapping around and coming back up in your feet, through your feet. You kind of keep visualizing it. Then at a point you visualize it like kind of twisting around you, like falling out of you and twisting around you and then going in. And then you do affirmations like that you are more than your body. You want to connect with something that has more wisdom and knowledge than you and insight than you, and looking at how you can help the world on your path and like be of service. But really you could like put any kind of intentions there, just to be like fully honest. And then you do, was that it? Then that. And then in the fourth tape, they have you go through and visualize, like going in and like visualizing the fear in the box and like pulling the fear out, but like keeping it away from you and allowing it to float away. And you'll like kind of like sit with that for a second. And then you go back in and you look at the emotion that's uncovered by the fear. And you let that emotion go. And then, because fear, they always say fear is a secondary emotion, that it's covering up a primary emotion, right? So like being afraid might actually be like, if you're afraid of like if something happens and then like you don't have any money, what you're really like, what that like really is like feeling unstable and unsafe and not secure. So like you let all of that go, right? And then like you pull out like the event that might have created that original fear, which goes back to the whole idea of self-concept and belief systems and your beliefs creating your reality. And so like if you're like really, really want something in life, like say, oh, I really, really want a relationship. What you're really wanting is to feel loved. And well, why did you ever have this idea that you're not loved or not lovable? So like you go back and you look at all those experiences. Like that's what, like really, when you look at the law of assumption does. You got rid of migraines with the emotions removed in my subconscious. I love that. I love that for you. So I don't know. So if you're looking at like wanting another way to try something, I think this might be it. I'm only on the fourth tape, so I can't speak. I'm going to keep doing them and I'm literally bouncing through them. I am not wasting my time doing, only because I know how to connect to something higher. I know how to connect in. And I did get, what's interesting, I did hear one of my guides talking to me. And so the guides that I hear talking to me more predominantly are male, and I don't know why. Their voices are male voices. So that is what it is, which is interesting because I have a whole like thing about that, but anyway, random ramble. Okay. Regine, your questions. Let me get those. Sorry if you were all bored by that. I just felt it was necessary to share it. And you did send an email, so let me see. Okay, so what do I see for you from now to the end of the year? What do I need to know for your highest good? Which one do you want? And then you said general reading. I mean, the highest good is kind of your general reading. I mean, that's usually how I do it general when I ask them for it. It's funny, it says engage with your audience, but I think it's because I'm not typing and I'm talking. All right, so Regine, do you want, I'll just do for now to the end of the year. Honestly, I feel like through October, you're really going to be focused more on your health. I don't want to say I think you're going to COVID. Like, are you getting over COVID? Did you have something? Because I feel like this cough and I feel a headache. Oh God, that's weird. It's a dry cough too. It's not a, well, that's annoying. As you can all see, I was not coughing before. Ugh. And they're telling me why. It's like, it's a forced slowdown. So if you don't want to run into this, it just feels like force yourself to slow down a little bit. Force yourself to just relax a little bit. And like when you're resting, actually rest rather than like sitting there thinking about all the things that you have to do or could be doing or should be doing instead. And like looking around at stuff and be like, oh, well, I'm just being lazy. It's like, no, you're not. It's okay. Just relax. Do you have an issue with ragweed, like a ragweed pollen allergy? There's just something where I feel this like dry cough, but I also feel these headaches. So it's like between now and October, I just feel like kind of focusing more on like health. That can be mental health, that can be, physical health. It just feels like really focusing on health issues. No, I don't feel like you're gonna be hospitalized or anything like that. It feels like on a very like I mean, obviously your health issues are personal, but like in your home kind of stuff. That's not to say that like that's the only thing you're doing and you're not working, you're not doing other stuff, but it just feels like this becomes a main focus. So you can call this self-care. Um, I'm going to say this. I feel like allergies are going to be very bad this fall for people. I know. I feel like when I was a kid, hurricane season ran to the end of October, but I feel like there's going to be actually, and this is not for you. I'm sorry. This just randomly came in about like that there's going to be a big hurricane in November, like the second or third week in November, which feels really late this year. It's had a warm fall. Sorry for the random intrusion. So I just asked, because that was kind of for my guide, and I was like, well, like, hello. um, and I just got you're going to be happier than you've ever been this fall. So even though you're dealing with all this other stuff, it just feels like a weight off your shoulders, really, really relieved. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like feeling a sense of vindication is what I heard. That's the word I wanted to say. Feeling a sense of vindication and feeling a sense of hope. So that might actually come around the elections, to be honest with you. I think the idea is like around the self care bit, not feeling guilty about doing it or that you need to do a million other things while you're doing it. Um, I feel like in December is when you're sort of going to start seeing like gifts from heaven, little manifestations like really kind of coming in. And I say that because I saw grapes. So maybe literally, but that I feel like it's more figuratively. And I'm like, well, grapes are like fruits of the gods, is kind of the feeling I get. So I feel like that's coming your way too, which all of this stuff is sort of like, I feel like a little bit more not it's like not really super specific, which I don't love my readings to be that way, but you've had enough of them from me, so I feel like mm, there's a discussion on my end where they're like, "You're not always supposed to know what's coming for you." I'm like, "But" I do see contracts being signed in December, so I'm not sure what that's about. or certificates. It's something that looks like it might be either notarized or certified. So maybe that's it. I guess, I don't know. I'm glad they always make sense because they don't make sense to me when I'm doing them. So, okay. Listen, that is a mantra all of us should always have. Everything's always working out for me. Everything always works out in my favor. Even when it looks like crap's falling apart. Okay. And then you had a second one. Oh, wait. Yeah. Was your second one is, hi, Tanya. So these are $12 a reading and 30% gets donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And the link is in the description, but here, hang on. I'll pop it up in the comments section. Which is an extremely reasonable price. Y'all, I saw somebody, my marketing person was showing me, she was like, you should be raising your rates. And she's been a client of mine. So it's not like she's coming from a place of like, just like, so she knows the work that I do. She took one of my psychic development circles she did of mine. But she's like, you should be raising your rates. And she's like, showed me this woman who does. And I think because I feel like I know what it is to struggle with money. I know that the majority of people are just not, like I get that. Like I don't want to, ethically, I can't see doing what this woman does, but she charges $150 a reading for a TikTok live reading. So it's not even like, and to me, that's just such a crazy rate. Like, it's like, I just can't imagine robbing people blind. Like I know that there's a lot of people I know that there's infinite amount of money and there's all kinds of money around and like there's people that can afford that and everything else. But I also want this to be accessible to people. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm standing in my own way, but okay. So I'll pin the comment. Oh, it's already pinned. Okay. Okay, Regine, what do you know? Let me do somebody else's and then I'll come back to your second one. So I can kind of bump out of your energy a little bit and then go back in. Infinity, did I answer your question? I did Patricia's. No, I didn't answer Infinity's. Good Lord, y'all. I've been on here 30 minutes. I've answered 2 questions. Sorry. Infinity, are you still here? Do you want me to do your question or do you want me to do somebody else's? I can go back to Regine's. And we'll do the general, like what's going on in the world kind of questions or pop culture or whatever you want to do. I don't know if any of y'all follow astrological stuff. But there's something I do want to talk about that. Okay, I don't know where Infinity is. Maybe they're typing. Oh, you're here. Okay. No worries. What's your question? Excuse me. It was, I just decided I don't know, I felt like I needed to come out of her energy a little bit and then answer her second reading, which was like a general reading, which feels kind of like the same as what I just said, because that's really general, as vague as like what's going to happen. So maybe I'll. Do you want to reformulate your second question, Regine? Only so it's. How did Leo feel about your message and if he'll reply? I do feel like he'll reply. I feel like it's interesting. It's a feeling of like being taken aback a little bit. I feel like I don't know what this feeling is, so I feel like he probably isn't great at naming his emotions, but I feel like a heaviness in my heart. It's a feeling of like, I don't want to say shame, but like a little bit of guilt and feeling a little bit of remorse and regret, but also like wanting to tread lightly because he's not sure how he wants to proceed. So it's a feeling of taking time to really thoughtfully reply. The feeling I get is like taken aback in the sense of like not being again, I don't know what this letter is about or anything else, so I'm going off of feelings. So it's like that feeling of maybe not really realizing how his actions impacted you. I'm going to say this. I don't feel like Leo is so it's like if you went and you were like, listen, when you said this, it really offended me or it upset me, or when you like, I don't feel like this person is very capable of like, even if it's not, I'm not like, this doesn't even have to be like a love thing. This can be like, hey, we're in a work situation. When you said this, it really upset me or it hurt me or it made me embarrassed. I don't feel like he's very aware of how his actions affect others. Right. So I don't feel like he's aware of how his actions affect others. But again, so taken aback, not aware that that's what happened, not aware that that's how he would have been perceived. Um, I just feel like taking my time and how to respond. Also, remember, you know exactly what you wrote in that letter. I don't. So I'm going off literally feelings and emotions they're giving me. They don't always give me like, here's the details and here's what happened. So it's not even about you're saying like, oh, I guess he doesn't know if he likes you or not. It's not. I just feel like it's a feeling of not sure how he wants to proceed. So wanting to respond very carefully. Um, so maybe he's taken aback because he didn't expect you to wish him happy birthday. That was just the feeling of like taken aback. I don't know. But I also don't feel like he's very aware of how his actions affect others. Wouldn't you be like kind of like, oh, that's interesting that someone would like that I haven't spoken to in forever? That can be taken aback, right? I don't think he forgot you. I just think it was like I was taken aback by that. I wasn't expecting that. But I also don't feel like he knows how he affects other people. So again, that can be like, I wouldn't have expected this person to say happy birthday to me. Again, I feel like wanting to take his time and figure out how to respond. Because do I just say thank you? Do I say any more than that? Is there like not sure of what expectations are? But I also don't think he's a person who's very aware of how his actions affect others. And your relationship might speak to that you had with him, that like he wasn't somebody who, like, there's people who, even when you tell them this is how your actions are, they don't want to take accountability. for whatever reason, they either can't see themselves that way, they don't want to own that they're imperfect, or they think that taking accountability then means I'm ultimately a terrible, horrible human being. Was there with the two of you, like, I just got this feeling of, I don't want to ask a question first. I wanted to say this. So the feeling I just got was like, um, I just don't feel like he's got this massive emotional depth. So it just feels kind of like, you're needing more from somebody than like he necessarily has to give. Yeah, I don't think it made him unhappy. It wasn't the feeling, it was just like, oh, it was like a surprise. And listen, do you really think that you're unforgettable? I mean, that you're forgettable, not unforgettable. Do you feel like you should be unforgettable? You are unforgettable. But I mean, do you really think that, like, there's very few people that I just like forget about entirely? And they're usually people that I didn't really interact with. Or perhaps was under the influence. But um, I usually remember first names. And also, it was like college 20 years ago, 30. Oh my God. 23 years ago, I graduated. Holy shit, I'm old. Um, Sometimes I forget people until I see them again. Yeah, I get that. I'm kind of an out of sight, out of mind person in a way. Like, if I like, all I have to do to not eat the thing that I shouldn't be eating, like I can't stop gorging on, is just like put it in a cabinet away. Then I forget it's there. I have to have clear containers for organization, or I just forget shit's there. I Listen, it's not, I want to say this. I don't want to say that it's like, oh, he doesn't care at all. I just feel like he's not in a place to be what you really need. And I don't feel like he ever really was in a place to be what you really need. And not that like you're so needy, it's just some people are emotionally available and some people aren't. And you're ready for a relationship that's healthy and mature. And so you need somebody who's able to fit that. And I don't feel like he fits that. He just reminds me of some of my guy friends that I used to have that just were like, it's not that they're total players, it's just they're just not really available for a super commitment because they're not emotionally mature enough. I don't I want to say this. This is going to go to the manifesting thing, but this is also to like the like looking at if our beliefs create our reality and self-concept work. Everything is like, where I see it when I read it, it's like energetic drop when I read about me, about me. Don't look for him to validate you as a person or your value or your worth. Don't look for anything outside of you to validate you for your worth. You get to say whether you're worthy and valuable. You get to set your worth. So this would be like me running my business and looking for somebody outside of me to say that I'm deserving of the amount I'm charging, or that I deserve to have a space and show up and do readings. I don't need that. I'm going to show up. I'm going to set my rates, and I'm going to decide what my rates are worth in my business. And I'm going to decide what I am worth in the relationships around me. That means if somebody thinks that I'm forgettable, then I'm not going to allow that to hurt my feelings, because, like, okay, I don't need you in my orbit. And if you flip that to, like, you're looking at law of assumption, yeah, I'm worthy and valuable. And you don't worry about that. Like, or you go, of course, he totally thinks that I'm worthy and valuable. You can change the story, but I want you to look at the core of the things that you're saying, because to me, that's a self-concept issue more than a you're not actually worthy and valuable. There's something there that needs to be gently held a little bit and loved a little bit more and spoken more kindly. And when I said, so like a couple weeks ago, I was like, I said this, and I kind of like find myself going like, I'm totally in love with myself, but like not in a weird, creepy way, in a way that I love my children. Right. So I see my children. They are not perfect beings, but I fucking love them. And I just adore them. And I'm able to embrace them and love them along with all of their shortcomings and all of the growth that they need to do and everything else. It's the same way our guides look at us. It's the same way the universe looks at us. Like, it's not like, oh, what a fuck. Like, I don't look at my kids that way. I just go like, okay, they've got growing to do. And that's normal. And it's normal for humans, regardless of what stage we're in, to need to grow and learn and be kind to ourselves. So I want you to just for an exercise at home, something to really like, what do you like about him so much? Because if our world is a reflection of who we believe we are, right? Because it's not who we are, because the idea of like of who we are, like they're just showing up as our beliefs. So what is it that you really like about him? And then what is it that you really think that you would get from that relationship? And can you give that to yourself? So like if you're like, oh, because he's really funny, like because I have a great sense of humor. So like I know that sounds weird, but it's like just look at that. Like, what are you getting from him? And if he's not showing up, what do you think that says about you? And maybe look at that, because it doesn't say anything terrible about you, but our beliefs are like the things that we think in our minds, they're just a lot of liars with it's all the negative stuff. So if he seems like a loving person who's enthusiastic about life, what you're looking is for somebody who's loving, right? So then you need to love yourself. I am lovable. I am loved. I love myself. I am kind to myself. I'm good to myself. Like, really pay attention to what's following that. And I promise you, more people who are enthusiastic about life will show up that way. Like, he's not the only guy. But like, learn to just really dig in for yourself. Because I promise you, out of 9 billion people in the world, there's another person out there that's going to be totally enthusiastic about life and be loving and kind, and also know that you're completely unforgettable. And you, according to manifestation, you can get this guy to show up. But like when you're looking at law of assumption, but you have to work on the self-concept stuff, because the world just reflects that inner belief system that we have. And so if we believe people can forget me, because there's a belief in there that believes that you are a forgettable person. And I promise you, you're not. I promise you, you can just decide I am unforgettable. And that's the story you get to tell yourself. But you have to like keep doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. Like you keep having to like reinforce your self-concept, because our world, like there's a lot of things that are constantly bombarding us, reminding us that we're not enough, whether it's advertising for products like, oh, your hair isn't soft enough or smell good enough or whatever, or your body isn't perfect, so just get this or that. There's all kinds of things out there that are going to remind us that we're not enough. That's why you have to keep working on your self-concept and keep like, patching it up. You can't clean your house once and think that it's going to be clean forever. it does say more about him or than you. But what I'm telling you is there's a belief system in there, deep in there, at a core that even thinks that you're forgettable. And when you vibrate differently, you attract different. And I hate using that vibration term because I just think it's like overused and kind of cheesy, but and it's not about being toxically positive because I think it's okay to acknowledge all the like the sad feelings we have and the negative stuff that comes up because in that is where you can really like dig in and go like, oh look, I need to like zhuzh up this little belief system here. That doesn't mean like, oh my God, I'm having a bad day, so that means I'm creating a whole bunch of terrible stuff. It's like, no, I'm like, you just gotta like dig out some of that stuff and go like, and be willing to look at it and be honest about it and be like, all right, so why would I have that feeling? Where does that come from? Well, why did they teach me that belief system? Well, guess what? I don't have to hold that belief system anymore. And I'm going to decide to speak to myself differently. There was something that interesting that came up when I was doing this. This is where like this HemiSync thing came in today, where I was like, I put something in, and I realized like, gosh, now can I remember it? Maybe I really was in more of a meditative state than I thought. It was something in the box that I put in there. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never really looked at like that as being a fear and like looking at it that way and understanding it that way. I was like, huh, I guess I can let that go. Like sometimes you just have to like see it in order to be able to release it. I can't remember what it was. Guess it's gone. That's how intuition works. And when you connect in with like some of the stuff, so if you don't write it down, you're gonna lose it. But like for me, a lot of like the releasing any kind of blocks isn't so much that I have to do this massive work. It's just becoming aware is like such a huge shift. It's just the awareness that it's there. I would say 80% of the battle is knowing. So I'm going to say this. I do think he'll respond. I also feel like he won't end up being the one, but I think that's more about you doing the own self-concept work and just like maybe not being as attracted to him as you think. Like he doesn't seem as attractive anymore. Hi, Ashley. Good to see you. Just saw your hello. Good to see you. All right, Regine, do you have another question? Let me ask instead if I can my brother-in-law intention with me with the office. Can you give me his first name? I feel like he needs me, but he wants me out of there at the same time. Hi, Sharon. Sending you love too. Wait, on real estate? Could that be contracts that I was seeing being signed or certifications I was seeing being signed like in December? Like, I think we just answered that question already. Contract on property. So I think that answers it. I think you will be working with him. My other sense is that you're unclear how he feels, but I heard you about how I look at myself. That wasn't my specific question anyways. Okay. I know, but I know your question was about that and whether he'd respond. I just feel like you can manifest him really being into you, and that can be the fun stuff. But I also feel like work on the self concept stuff would be way more beneficial. And then you draw someone in that's like a lot better. Like the energy I see coming forward is a lot better. Like a lot. Like tall, dark, and handsome better. um Blushing better. Okay. uh you're very welcome. Okay. So around him, and you're like going, well, I think, but he's trying to get rid of me. He's not. I think that that's your own insecurity, especially around the situation of like what's going on with him and his personal life and your sister. So I would say let that go. That idea that like, oh, he doesn't want me around. It's like, of course he does. I almost feel like you need to be like, he needs me around because I feel like he does need you around. So you get to decide that, right? So it's like of course he wants me here because I'm really good at my job and he knows that I'm really good at, and I'm reliable and I'm trustworthy. I do feel like he has trust issues. And so that's a big reason why he's keeping you there because through all the stuff with your sister, you've been like you haven't been shady and you haven't been vindictive. And he sees that. And no, I don't think this is going to be like, oh my God, he's going to fall in love with you now, marry you now. Like, it's not going to be a weird Maury Povich thing. I just feel like, um, for him, it feels like a very smart business move to keep you on. No Maury Povich. We don't do that. I feel like he doesn't have a very big circle of people that he's close with. You're very welcome. If nobody else has any questions, let's do some general stuff. If you guys want to ask general, what's going on in the world kind of things. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Anyone? Where's Devry when we need her? How was your niece's birthday party, by the way? Is she loving double digits? I guess I'll talk about so I don't know if anybody's ever on Tiki Taki Schmicky Schmucky. There's like a whole drama that's going on right now with like Blake Lively. Because she's in a movie about domestic violence and apparently didn't promote it the way it should have been in order to like spotlight domestic violence in the way it should be seen. And she's had some behaviors like, these are just clips. These are, whatever. But not to like pick on her because this isn't really about her, but this is like looking at when we talk about like the age of Aquarius and moving and shifting timelines and how the world is shifting from this very, was it Pisces? way. I can't remember which like signs it is, but it's like we're moving from a place of being about like capitalism and the self and all of that into like the greater good of all. And so what you're going to see start happening is like people who are spotlighted or in the past have been spotlighted and like been able to manipulate popular opinion and culture based on the way they want to spin things. And sort of people being held on a pedestal or controlling things like are no longer going to be able to do that. I think celebrity culture is going to change, and what types of people are uplifted will be changed. So you're going to see more of this. Like, I mean, more of like you could think of like Cat Williams said, "I'm producing a fall in 2024," but you're going to see more of like you see like the fall of P Diddy, and he is not like his is like astronomically different than the Blake Lively drama. But what you're going to see is like people are going to have to be more authentic and authentically them, and also like it's not about like cancel culture more as now it's like accountability culture. So I don't think anybody expects anybody to be perfect, but can you be, should you be held accountable, and can you hold yourself accountable and take responsibility for your actions? Um, and I think with her, there's things where it's like over and over and over, and it's almost a refusal to take accountability where it's like, well, if I just do this now, then it's okay. It's just inauthentic. It's more to save face than it is to like authentically stand for something. Um, I don't know. So it'll be interesting what you see happening. I don't think she's, the evilest person ever, but I think what's going to happen is like the masses are tired of watching people who are at the top be so out of touch. Um, I have my own intuition and opinions about her. I'm not like totally tear her down because I think energetically that's not beneficial for me. Um, I think truths are going to come out about a lot of people. Um, that's what I'm going to say. Like, there's also the stuff about what's his name, Mr. Beast. It's the same thing where like he apparently did stuff where he was like, oh, these are what do you call them? They're not raffles, but like some sort of like where people are paying money for something to potentially win, but like nobody's winning. It's like all these weird kind of things. Like all of that is going to be the people that are inauthentic are going to be have a light shown on them. It's the best way to say it. So it's like these people, you'll see them if they can't take accountability for it and like learn from it, it's going to harm them more than if they just go like, "Ooh, yeah, I could have approached that differently. Let me learn from this." So hopefully, I don't know, that's what you're going to see more of as time starts to go through the age of Aquarius is that kind of stuff falling apart. All right, I'm rambling. If nobody has any questions or anything else about just general like what's going on, I'm going to say goodnight because I've got stuff to do. Anyone? Are y'all good? It's like crickets in here. All right. So if you're done, I'm going to say hasta luego. I will see y'all. I probably will not be on next Sunday. Your questions are always blocked. Why? Oh, well, say your thoughts. Share them. Gotta type faster. Julia, why are your things always blocked? How are you asking them? I don't think I have many things that are blocked. Oh, I know why. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Let's see. Oh, it's because I have it filtered weird. I have it filtered as top instead of, all right, girl, I'm here. Okay. Do you see the UK having more riot escalations or our current government backing down and listening to the people going forward? I don't know how your election cycles go, but 2025 is going to be massively different. There's going to be a huge overhaul. Um, the current group of people that are in power um, are some of these people who refuse to take accountability and like look at things and like are completely out of touch. But I feel like 2025, it feels like massive changes. Um, do you know what your election, like how often do you do elections? Is there a big election that would happen in 2025? I'm sorry I don't know more about it. I feel like more people know about the United States, like, oh, there's elections every 4 years. I don't know that much about world affairs, to be quite honest. Um, Hang on. Anthony said I have a few more thoughts. Just he's tall, dark, and handsome. Why people think he's shallow? I don't see that. Who's shallow? You just had one, so in 4 years. Is there something that would happen in 2025? Oh, you're still thinking about Leo. Gotcha. Wait, so people other than me say that he's shallow? And I just said that I thought that he felt like he was emotionally unavailable? Lady, you just validated me. 2025 could be the Scottish one. Um, Maybe that's what it is because you live in Scotland, right? So I'm going to say this. I do still feel like there's going to be more, like there's going to be a lot more protests and things over the next couple years. Um, because unfortunately, for a little while, it's the only way people are going to listen. Excuse me. So maybe that's the Scotland thing is what I'm seeing as like an overhaul and a shift there. Um, oh, ooh, that's a long way away. Uh, I I feel like you're really gonna see big changes by 2078. Uh, I'll be 100. Um, I think we are gonna see big changes, but I think, like, it's gonna be a little while before there's really, really big changes, but those are big changes for my kids and maybe my grandkids if they have them. Um, though I teach my daughters, like, I'm like, "You don't have to have kids or be married to be fulfilled in life and to be whole and complete," because I want them to feel like they can follow whatever dream that they want. Maybe they don't wanna have kids. Maybe they don't wanna get married. I don't know. I don't really care as long as they're happy. Oh, yeah, people will still be here. I taught my 7-year-old, she was, like, doing I think I've said this before, the story before, she was selling ice cream. She was like, "Well, whatever, like $2, $12, whatever you wanna pay me." I was like, "Oh, no. Like, you decide what the worth is of your product, and you need to set that because people will, like, try and get everything for free, And like, you can't do that. You need to decide. I don't know why I randomly said that, but do we come down here in groups of 3 generations for reincarnation? No. Okay, so all right, so this is like the idea of like time all happens at once. So we incarnate in similar groups, maybe taking on different roles, but we're incarnating multiple times all at once. That is my belief. So it's not about just 3 generations. You're not asking a difficult one. That's a fabulous question. So like think about that. Like if time all happens all at once and we have multiple incarnations, and you can remember, some people can remember different incarnations. You're not necessarily reincarnating. You're just incarnating multiple times at the same time. And we tend to incarnate in similar groups, just taking on different roles within each incarnation. And when I was talking about my guides, this male guide is the one that I will hear, like I can hear his voice. Like it's when I was like a kid standing outside of my house and just like knew that I was being judged for my family, and growing up not like with a single mother, and like she was not available, and my sisters were party girls. And knowing that my family was being judged for it was like I heard him say, like, you don't have to be who they say you are. And then before, like when I was in college and I was taking an MIS class, Management and Information Systems, which all I really remember learning in there was Excel. But that's it. I didn't even learn it that well. Hearing same voice out of my right ear, like, you're going to go to the tech and get your degree in nursing. Like you need to, like, you're not listening. And I'll hear him, like, he's the one who I hear a lot. I don't know why I'm randomly telling you this guy, but I know I have also, there's also female guides around me, but for whatever reason, this is the voice I'll hear. With global warming, the war complex, the tech industry, sometimes I worry people will take themselves out, but I'm glad you don't see that. Yeah, no. I mean, I think that, or my sense is that fear controls the masses. And so people who stand to gain the most from people controlling them will put out things that are fearful. And not to be conspiracy theorist, but like, look at Rupert Murdoch is a billionaire that owns like a lot of, I think he owns Fox and who else, what else, but like, these people do control the masses. People who have a way to shift things for belief systems control the masses. This is not to be like crazy, kooky, QAnon-y, whatever. So fear is a very powerful energy to use. So if you're like, oh my God, he's got like whatever, it's like, if you can scare somebody into thinking that there's this big, massive enemy out there, then you can get them to get on board and be okay with you going to war. So I look at that stuff when they're like, oh my God, AI, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. Like, you can either feed into that energetically, or you can go, well, I don't have control over that anyway. And like, I'm sorry, robots aren't going to be walking around taking control of us. That's not going to happen. You can manifest that, I guess. I just don't see it. I don't see a nuclear war because honestly, it's not good for anybody's pockets. They want to be able to make enough money to continue to fatten their pockets, but they don't want to completely destroy the opportunity to have that money. So remember that. Nobody wins off of a nuclear war. Like nuclear, however the fuck you say it. By 2027, global warming is going to be the thing where it is going to be the main focus. This is why we feel we meet someone new, connect so easily because we already know each other. Yes, 100% yes. You know each other's on a soul level. My guides only direct me like that when I'm not listening. Let me be very clear. Except for that one, like when I was a kid, that was like definitely like I definitely needed that in that moment. I love my mother. We have a good relationship, but she was like not a great mom. Um, Anyone else grows up Gen X, you know that parents were not like really great parents, and my mom was a very absentee mother. My parents got divorced when I was 6, and she had dropped out of college and married my dad, so she was working, minimum wage jobs to stay afloat with 3 little girls. And I think my dad gave like $500 a month in child support, which for 3 kids is not much. And that's what he gave, what he was required to give. And I saw him every other weekend. It's like, my father was not a deadbeat father by any means. He's not a great man, but he's not a deadbeat father. But she just wasn't around. She wasn't able to be around or be, a mommy maker. But knowing my mom, like knowing her now, like she's just, she didn't have a great childhood either. So I think it was just, I am, and I believe this, very well protected by my guides and taken care of. There have been many instances where I'm like, somebody put somebody there to make sure I was okay, because that was kind of a dumb situation I found myself in. And not like I'm reckless. I'm a very like, and I've always been a very rule followery type person, but just like hey, that's not a good person to interact with kind of thing. Hi KK. So and like the going to nursing school was literally because I was not listening to all the little quiet signs of it. I didn't know how to listen to my intuition then and listen to the subtleness of it. And so it was like, hello. And I only think the reason why I could hear all it, like I'm open to it, is probably because I didn't have anyone around as a kid. Like I was a very lonely little girl. And I think because I was able to spend so much time in the quiet, right? And I didn't go like, oh, this isn't normal or this is weird. I think that's the gift that came out of that. You continuously speak to yours, but you're always feeling supported too. And when I ask for their support, it's there in buckets. Also, my manifesting has become so powerful since learning here. Yay! I love that. Sent again. Hang on. Wait, why are you paying for questions? What are you doing here? Okay, what's your question? So I just think like we can look at it like, I just think I was placed in a very unique situation. And where I also didn't feel like it was weird or crazy to hear that. Like I didn't feel like, it was just like, oh, it just seems so natural. No, no, no. Ask your question. It's fine. It's fine. We can be a little bit flippy floppy. Yeah. I mean, that was not to be like, oh, I mean, I want to be very clear. Like I'm close with my mom now. I love her. I adore her. And she says that, like, she's like, I was not a good mom. Like, I know. Like, we don't need to beat a dead horse. Like, we got it. Your life path? Okay. Like, meaning what? And I say that because if you're like, what's my purpose here? I'm going to tell you, like I tell everybody else, your purpose is everything. I think when people are saying, like, what's my purpose? What they want to know really is, what's my passion? I'm trying to be high achieving, but oh, we'll leave all that. Um, you want to go to school and build a cool project, but I'm struggling with just surviving right now. Okay. So I want you, we're tabling that question because we're going to talk about something different. We're going to table that question for next week because I'm going to give you homework to do between now and then. And you're like, Anna, that's ridiculous. But I really want people to benefit the most out of what my abilities are. And I don't feel like I always do somebody a service if I just answer the question that they're asking. And that's weird, but like, I think that you could, I think that you're going to benefit if I do it this way more. Okay. Okay. So this is free what I'm telling you to do. And I'm happy to give you your money back because I don't want anybody who's like really worried about money to be paying for this. Like this is, I am achieving. I don't know what I'm achieving, but I'm doing it. um, so, okay. I'm trying to think the best way for you to do this. Okay. There's a couple things I want you to start doing. I want you to, you got a lot of homework actually. And this is not even, I'm giving your money back. I'm giving your money back, not because I don't like, because I want to give you homework to do so that when you come back, like, I feel like you're going to know better about what your question is. And I think it might take more than a week. But this isn't because I don't care about you. It's because I genuinely think that you can really, really grow. And like, I feel like this is a more beneficial than just me answering your question. And my goal is like, my tagline is empowering your journey. And so I want you to always like everyone to always walk away recognizing that they are a powerful individual and that I'm happy to like work myself out of the psychic mediumship, even though I really enjoy it. Like, I want you to realize how much power you have within you. That said, I really want you to start learning about law of assumption and self-concept work. Really, really want you to start doing that. Because when you do that, you recognize how much more powerful you are. When you start deciding that what follows I am is really important. So instead of saying I'm struggling, you can say I'm getting by. It can mean the same exact thing, but it has a more empowering flip versus being a victim. Like, it's happening to me, I have no control. It's like, oh, I'm getting by. I'm getting by. I'm not saying that it's not hard for you right now, but you can say two different things and have it be sort of the same situation with two different flips of it. And the reason why I say, like, I'm not saying that it's not happening or like, oh, let's just get about that. Like, because I want to recognize and honor what you're saying and not be dismissive of it. But I always think there's a trick to the brain and a way to flip it. And our brain will focus on what we decide it needs to focus on. It is an algorithm. It filters things. You could not take in as much of the world that's happening without totally going bananas. Your brain is very kind and generous about filtering things, but it doesn't always have a say in what that filter is if your belief systems create that filter. Just like your what you're watching and interested in creates an algorithm in a social media thing so that it pops up and brings more of what you're interested in. Brain works the same way. Your neural pathways work the same way. So instead of saying I'm struggling, because as you say that, guess what? It's going to look for more opportunities to continue to struggle. So I'm getting by. It's going to look for more opportunities to get by. It is not other people's job to know that you need help. I want to say that very clearly. Um, when you decide like, well, maybe someone will notice me, that's in that same vicinity of I'm forgetful or I'm forgettable. Not forgetful, I'm forgettable. Right? So it's not your job. Like you're a whole grown being. If you need help, you just ask for help. You have to ask for help. It's hard to ask for help, but you have to ask for help. You can't expect people to just know, because then what happens is that comes from a place of like, I'm not worthy and deserving of asking for help. And when you ask for help, you create community and you give opportunities for other people to connect through that community and live their own purpose and all of that, right? Which might be to help you. They might be the person to share their knowledge and their wisdom. Like they're just looking for opportunities to do that. And maybe by not asking for help, right? And also expecting people to just help you without like to just know, that can be kind of an unhealthy balance in life. That also then the people who you just expect people to know that you need help, you're the person who goes out and just helps people without them asking, right? Stopping them from making mistakes, or like, let me just do this so you don't have to struggle at all. But we learn through our struggles. We learn through our mistakes. So you can look at that as being like, there might be some boundary issues there. So what I'm telling you is, I have 12 people listening to this good advice. Well, I hope it's helpful. So when you're in that spot of like, it's hard, like I'm telling you, people don't know that I'm struggling in certain ways, that I have a hard time, that things aren't as easy. I don't need other people to witness that to know that it's happening to me. I don't need the outside validation of me having a hard time or a hard day, or like to know that it's happening, and also know, and my mindset is very important, especially to creating what I want in life. And if my brain is a filter, and there are studies on this, if my brain is a filter, then I'm going to decide how it's filtering. And I can focus on like it's hard or it's struggle or I am getting by. And maybe it's the people you're asking. And you don't need people to know that you're struggling or having a hard time either. Really and truly, like because again, that's validating. You need somebody to validate that you're having a hard time to make it feel okay that you're having, or like, not that it's okay that you're having a hard time, but to make it feel like that it's okay for you to have those feelings that you're having a hard time. When it's okay to just be like, fuck, this sucks and it's really hard. And I know that I'm getting by. And if I ask for help, it's okay. And I'm worthy and deserving of help. And I'm worthy and deserving of this getting better. And I know that day by day it gets better. I know that today is a little better than yesterday. And it's not about being toxically positive. I wouldn't say that like I'm getting by as being so completely delusionally positive that people would be like, okay, oh, she's like, just, I'm getting by. And I think that we need to do that for our own brain too. Sometimes it's like, you don't need to go to this crazy, toxically positive, like, oh my God, I'm totally winning, because your brain's not going to believe that. Your 3D is not going to show up that way. And it makes it harder to make that shift. But if you can go to like, I'm getting by from I'm struggling, that's an easy shift. Oh, Drishti, I'm so sorry about your loss. Um, I'm going, ugh, because these are paid readings, and I tell everybody these are paid readings and they're $12 a reading, and I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And the link is pinned. And I'm very, very sorry for your loss. So what I would say for you is like, go, and for a little while, I'm gonna give you your money back, because this is not answering your question, but I really want you to do this because I think it would be very beneficial for you. So it's like really going in and like working on what follows I am and what follows. Now I feel like a jerk, Regine, because I'm like, I'm trying to set boundaries. You feel like you need to do something, then I'm allowing you to do that. Drishti, I'll be with you in just a minute. I just want to finish with infinity. So, and maybe my setting a boundary is allowing you an opportunity to help. I mean, I don't know. Okay. So what I want you to do is really work on what follows I am and pay attention to that, and not like berating yourself if you have a negative thought process or whatever. It's like, oh, well, where does that belief system come from? Why would I believe that? That's interesting. Like just looking at it like a scientist, right? So why do you believe that? Like, why would I believe that life is a struggle, coming by money as a struggle? Things are always hard. Well, what did I grow up in? And also then just like, instead of going to like this crazy positive place, just go to like, okay, well, today was better than yesterday, and ask people for help. It's okay. And also don't expect them to like know that the struggle, like nobody can ever really know what you're going through. I want to say that. It's also like this idea, like when there was something that came up where it was a question of like, going back to the Blake Lively thing, like she didn't answer a question very well about domestic violence. And then like there was a clip where it showed Julia Roberts because she had been in a movie about domestic violence, and how she responded was like, I can't know because I've never been in that. And so like, I don't know how I would respond. And it's that idea of like, unless somebody's really walked in your shoes, they can't fully know. And even if they have, they still don't really know. Okay, Regine. Drishti, are you still here? Can you just tell me your son's first name? And also the reason why I was like, oh, is because he passed away on my birthday. So that's why I was like, oh God, do I? Oh, like every time I see it, I'm like, oh, this makes me feel bad that I just didn't give it free. Oh, I feel like an asshole. there's my like needing to overgive and like really needing to learn. Drishti, are you still here? Did she leave? I know. Drishti, are you here? Did she leave? Oh God, I hope she just didn't leave. Oh, there you are. Okay, Drishti, what is your son's first name? What is your son's first name? I just want a first name and then the question you wanted to know. I'm just gonna tell you what I feel, what I keep feeling. I keep hearing Strider, so it's like a it's an interesting sound with a breath with while they're breathing. It's like a and I keep feeling like fluid pulling in the back of my throat, and there I feel like there might have been a heart issue that got missed. Does any of this resonate, Drishti? And maybe an arrhythmia, like a heartbeat issue. I don't feel like he was oxygenating well. Vardan is his name. Do you can you validate any of the physical things I'm feeling? Because I feel like they're showing me his skin, but I feel like it's very dusky looking, like he's not getting oxygenated well. He's very big, round, beautiful eyes and beautiful eyelashes. Did he have like so I'm feeling like there's multiple congenital stuff. Hi, Chicky Lexi. I feel like I'm gonna ignore a little bit just because I'm doing a reading right now. I feel like there's multiple congenital stuff going on. So I feel like his fontanelles were a little bit wide. So like this is like the soft spot up here feels like it's a little bit wide. Do you know if he had a little bit larger amount of like maybe mild hydrocephalus? I don't feel like any of this was caught in utero. Like I feel like this was kind of a surprise. Does this resonate? Does any of this resonate? I just want to know if he's happy. He's definitely happy, honey. Um, I know at 8 weeks old he can't speak. But do you know about the medical stuff going on? I want to make sure I'm connecting right with his energy. He said, "I'm happy." I also feel like he's coming back. I don't feel like it's a feeling of not the right time for him. Like there was a lesson to learn within this little bit right now, but I feel like it wasn't the right time for him to really like thrive and grow. He's showing me like a lotus flower, like really expanding. So I feel like he does come back. I don't feel like he's this is like you're it with him, but I feel like there was a lesson for you to learn within this and for dad specifically too. I think that you're behind, so there's a I think that you're not caught up on the timeline. So I think like you're a little delayed. Yeah, we're definitely delayed. Okay. So there's a little bar on the bottom and I would drag it all the way over to the right. So I feel like yeah, lots of I would say if I was his nurse, since I used to be a nurse, I would his chart would say like, multiple congenital anomalies. I feel like there's a respiratory issue. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. They showed me like a blind ending. I forget what it's called, like where the esophagus doesn't go all the way down. Um, it's like a blind ending pouch, something like that. Um, I can see stuff with his tummy too. So he is happy, he is safe, and I do feel like he's coming back again. I don't feel like this is like it for him. It just feels like timing wasn't right. Something wasn't right about it, but also a lesson that needed to be learned for you and your spouse, which is not like really a great thing we want to hear like, "Oh, I had to lose a child to learn a lesson." That's like Um, do you also have a daughter? Because I'm seeing a little girl. I keep seeing his. You do have a daughter. Okay. She sees him. Like, I feel like she sees him around. I feel like she's still kind of little, so she might not be able to verbalize this. But when you get pregnant again, because I do feel like you will be pregnant again, it feels like within 6 months. It's not that far out. She's gonna mention the baby in the house. Baby, the baby, I see the baby. She's gonna mention baby, baby. Um, I want to say this: nobody did anything wrong. So if there's like if I did something wrong, if um, I do feel like he'll be coming back. If I did something wrong, like nobody did anything wrong. This is what they would call de novo. Like it's a fluke. It just happens. He's making me feel like you can smell him. Like you can smell him, and in those moments, you want you to know that he is with you in those moments. I'm not sure if you're caught up yet, so I'm sort of waiting to see because your comps are a little behind. Um, I know culturally pumpkin might not make sense. I don't know what, but I just saw a pumpkin. So I don't know if it means, I literally don't know because there could be a cultural significance to it, right? Or it might not, I don't know. Because like in the United States, right, pumpkins would mean fall and things like that, but like or it might relate that to like Thanksgiving or Halloween or something like that, but I don't know, but he's showing me a pumpkin. So it could also be like maybe that's a term of endearment, but I almost don't feel like it would be like calling him directly a pumpkin. It might be in a different language, like where you say like mon petit chouchou, like my little cabbage is a French term of endearment. Like my, there's something around a pumpkin, but I feel like it's more of around like a term of endearment rather than a time frame. I don't feel like you have a dog, but he's showing me something around a dog, um, being significant, almost like I almost feel like we would never have a dog, but maybe you have a rescue or something. There's something around a dog. It's a small one, by the way. It's not a big dog. I know you don't have a dog. That's why I said I don't think you have a dog, but there's something he's showing me about a dog. Um, can you validate any of the medical stuff I talked about? Since you seem like you're pretty close now to being caught up. So I had mentioned there was a breathing issue. Like I felt like stridor, which is kind of a loud, noisy, squeaky breathing. And I felt like fluid, like in the back of my, kind of pooling in the back of my throat. And I do feel like there was cardiac issues. And I also felt like an arrhythmia. I kept getting shown like a blind ending tube, like in your esophagus. I can't remember the name of like the actual name of what that is. And then I also felt like just slightly wide So maybe mild hydronephrosis, or not hydronephrosis, hydrocephalus. All of that stuff made sense. Okay. So I don't know why, or maybe you're watching a dog for a friend or something, but there's something he's showing me about, and it's a little dog. It's not a big dog. This is very much a little dog. So he's showing me that. And does a pumpkin make sense for anything? Like, because she showed me that. So it feels like, but I don't feel like it's like Halloween or whatever like that. It feels like not culturally related to like the American. So I don't know what the pumpkin means. Maybe that's too, I don't know. That doesn't fit time frame for being pregnant again in 6 months. Oh, but could that be? I said that could be when he's born again, is around the fall. Maybe that's it. Maybe he wants to be a fall baby. I could take that. And maybe that's 6 months from his passing, not 6 months from now. It hasn't been very long at all. I'm so sorry. I also feel like the minute he's born again, you will know it's him. And I also feel like he will be healthy. Like, no issues at all. I think all of that is the message. I don't know what else you want to know. Like, he's coming back. That he's going to be healthy, that he is happy. Oh, we're going to have a thunderstorm. That's all the message. You're so very welcome. I'm so very sorry. I don't mean to laugh at you and be like, oh, like, I didn't mean to dismiss that or belittle that at all. So please don't take that way. I just, that's all, like all of that, all the connection, all that thing, knowing he's around. I feel like do you smell him ever? Because it was a feeling of like, I can just smell him sometimes. Um, he's very, very happy. I do feel that for sure. But know that he's coming back. I'm so glad that helped you. I cannot even begin to know what that loss is. Um, I used to be a NICU nurse, and I took care of a lot of kids that had a lot of issues, and I I don't know that I could do that after having been a mom. I don't know. I think there was um, a gift in my ignorance doing that job. I honestly have no idea how my friends still do it, like when they have kids, because it just, I mean, it's a lot. I'm sending you, like, just like KK said, so much love. And know that you can just come back here and hang out too. Like, you don't have to ask questions. You can just come back and sit in the energy of people who, um, these are a good group of people. Okay. Do we want to end on that note, or, and then I have to go in, Infinity. I need to go in and do it from here. Let me see if I can, I have to, because it's a long story, whatever. No. Let me see. I'm gonna have to do this in a little bit because I'm like, nope, it's not got the right password saved. I don't know what it is. Okay. Did you pay for one, Allie, already? I don't know if I'm going to be on next week because we're going to be away. I have someone staying here at the house because we have a bunny, and I can't just send her off to the whatever. But so it's like it's not like my house is empty. That's why I don't feel totally unsafe saying this. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be on next week. So can you hold on to it? Are you okay with that? It is a good tribe. All right, so I think I'm going to go. Allie, can we wait? I think I'm going to go. Infinity, I'm going to. Oh, dang it, Allie, you paid already. Okay, ask your question. And then I'm going to go. How have you been, KK, by the way? I hope well. Thank you. My kids we're going to the shore. And I got to tell you, like, I grew up going to the beach as a kid. I feel like we went all the time, but apparently my mom's, but my mom's memory is not that great right now. She's like, no, we only went once. But I remember going a lot as a kid. And I went a lot with my grandmother for sure. And like Texas beaches are just different than Jersey Shore beaches. Like Texas beaches are like, I mean, you can drive on them, the ones we went to. And like we stayed in condos where you just like walk down to the beach and like walk back and you shower off and like you can get in the pool or you go back to your condo. But like, so I never brought a towel or anything, did not have like a lot of toys. I just like played with shells and sand and stuff like that. But like Jersey Shore beaches are like its whole cultural experience. Like it's like, I'm not saying it's a great culture. I'm just saying there are boardwalks and games. And so my kids are excited. Anyway, there's heavy rain and flooding here yesterday though. Oy. Okay. I work on Sundays now. And sometimes I pick up my mom. Oh, okay. Um, but we enjoy it. My kids really enjoy it. They like the little town and oh my gosh, your freezer is leaking water into your fridge. Interesting. Huh. I wonder what that's about. There's some planetary thing I saw, and somebody said that there's going to be a lot of water issues. So that's interesting they say that, but now I cannot remember for the life of me where I saw it or what it was. Okay. All right. What's your question, Allie? So that my guide said yes, that I would get the job in America Water, but you didn't. Okay. So what's your question? See, I can always be wrong, right? They are wrong. No, I can be wrong. It's okay for me to say that. Like I'm not a perfect being. I'm human and I'm fallible. I just wonder if there's a lot of you wondering, like, if it's like with me, like, where you have to double down and be like, I got it. It's fine. It's done. But didn't I say there's something about there seeing two possibilities or two things or them coming back? Did I say that? I just want to. Oh, they said second round. So I don't know what the 6 weeks is about. So I don't know what that is, but I also feel like a lot of anxiety around it where there's just a lot of like, again, not belief around it, not belief that it's possible, not belief that it's going to happen. Maybe that's why you were supposed to wait, and I don't know why. You think that they're not clear? Okay, you're not going to like my answer. My answer is I do feel like a lot of this is about you learning self-empowerment and manifestation. Hello, tropical empress and spirit. Um, and I know that's really crappy for me to say. I don't want to be like, it's not me, it's you. But I do feel like there's a lot around you needing to learn about like creating the world that you want. And I don't mean to be like toxically like, oh, that's so easy to say. I know you need money. I'm not saying that. But that can be around that like money comes to me easily. Like around sort of shifting that. And then like when you pick up the penny on the ground, be like, oh, look at the universe brings me money. Like I don't mean to be like, but it shifts something where you start shifting something to a different. And I say that only because I used to have such a weird thing around money. I still do a little bit, but like I see how it comes to me in different ways, and like it's not always traditional. Like I don't know. There's something around 6 weeks. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if another job opens up or they circle back around, and that maybe that's what I'm getting around the second round with American Water. But don't you have a job right now? I don't feel like you're jobless. I just feel like it's not exactly what you want. Like it's like, oh, I have a degree, I want to get X, Y, and Z, but I'm working at Target. Taking a GIS course right now, and I'm trying to figure out the whole resume thing. Are you done with the GIS course in 6 weeks? Yes, yes, and Tropical Empress. That's what I'm trying to get at with her. Allie's been on here a while, and I'm gently trying to guide her and show her. So it is about like, so when like what I want to tell her to do is like you literally have to double down when you're applying for a job. And instead of like whenever that doubt rises in of like, are they going to hire me? It's like, no, of course they're going to hire me. They're hiring me. It's done. I'm done. I'm working there. It's done. I'm not even worried about it. And I'm going to go about my day. You always say out loud to myself, everything works out perfectly in my favor. That is one that we say here. In fact, it is our part of our bedtime routine. And so my daughter is 11 and she's old enough now to sort of like understand and connect it and see how it works. And she's like, Mom, everything's always work out in my favor. Everything always works out best case scenario on September 16th. So that's less than 6 weeks. So it might be that like that and then leads to the 6 week thing. Tropical Empress, you're welcome to be here anytime, reinforcing what I teach. This is what I believe. You're tired of retail. Okay, so, but here's the thing, and I want to say this: when you focus on like, I'm so tired of retail, I'm so sick of this, blah blah blah. It's like, guess what you're gonna get? A whole lot of retail. So it's not about, and I say this, it's not about being toxically positive, right? It is though about like learning to work with your brain, because your brain is going to filter. Your brain is an algorithm. Like it's going to filter. So if you're constantly like, I'm sick and tired of retail, like that's what's going to keep showing up, because your brain's like, horrible, awful retail, horrible. That's what she wants. Like it's not like, it's also like sometimes I'll click on something on TikTok and I'm like, and then all of a sudden like Christian shit starts showing up. And no offense to anybody who's a Christian, but like is not my bag. And so I'm always like, ew. And I just block it because I'm like, no, no, somehow, somewhere I did something that made you think that this was my thing. And I think sometimes like we just need to be like, oh no, like that's not it for me. Like, oh no, like I'm so grateful that I have this job and money is coming in. And I'm excited for new possibilities coming in, and I'm ready for change, and I'm ready for that change to be smooth, and I'm ready for that change to be like, and I welcome that change to be smooth and stress-free and easy. Hi, Jules, welcome. Like that's, I don't know. So like instead of focusing on all the stuff that you hate, like try and shift it. So like I can't use this example, but I really want to because it's like it's good. But I feel like it outs a little too much. But like even with my kids, I do stuff where I'm like, oh, I don't like that, but I'm like, nope. The truth is, like they like totally. Oh, this is a great example, and I can show you this because this is like it happened in a week and it came out perfectly. So I put my kids in a theater camp because my one daughter was like, I want to do acting, and I'm like so I have one of my closest friends, her son is a professional actor. He's been in like he was in A Simple Favor. He's going to be in A Simple Favor too. He's been on Broadway. Like he's done stuff. He's also an only child. So like her main focus is like if he wants to go to this stuff, she can focus on him doing this. And so I'm like, oh, like we could do like theater. Like I just was like, oh, you will never be able to do what Josh does as a kid because I don't have the community to support me being able to like send a child off, and I refuse to like have a child handler. I think that's like they're not called handlers. There's a guardian that you can pay people to be guardians. I just feel like that's a whole big like with my history, I don't trust anybody. Anyway, so I put them in this camp, and it was like from 9:30 to 4 o'clock every day. And they haven't had like normally I just do half day camps for them because um I don't know, because that's what I do. I like to spend time with my kids and we do the pool in the afternoon, all that stuff. And I just didn't. This week I did a full day camp. And because that's all they had available for their age range. And they were together. And so I thought, okay, this will be perfect. And they were both like, oh, I don't even want to do this. I can't believe I told you I changed my mind. And I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, now I can either go with this reality of like, oh shit, this is going to be the worst decision ever. And I should just like give up now and succumb to this. But then I was like, nope. In my head, I was just walking around like all happy, like they totally love it. They're so excited that they did it. Now, were they like that on day one when they came out? No. There was like it's so long. There was fear kind of coming up for my littlest one because she was like, she's never done anything like this before. My other one has when she was younger, but it was like shorter days. And she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. Um, and I was like, well, it's just the first day. So I kept reminding her, encouraging her. But in my head, I was like, totally love it. So excited that we did it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like it ended up being all great. So each day, like it got a little better and a little better and a little better. And like by the end of it, they were like totally happy that they did it, made new friends, everything else. But it was like in my head, I sort of had to ignore what was happening in the 3D and not like allow my brain to go like, this is the worst decision. Like, I'm just let them quit, blah, blah, blah. And, like it was like on Friday before they had their big thing, they had a full day of practice again. And I was like, told my youngest, I was like, I am because she was worried about not having the script. She had like 3 lines and some songs. And she's like, I'm not going to remember it. Can you ask him if I can use the script? And I was like, sure. I'm sure if you really need it, they'll let you have it. And she ended up not needing it because they worked with her and there was breaks in between her little songs and stuff. And so they worked on it in between. And she ended up loving it. And she was like, met little friends and like, but again, it was like, I had to manifest that in my head. I could have manifested it totally being a shit show and them hating it and not going back. So you sort of like, even in the moment, have to persist with your belief system of like, when that fear comes up and that like, oh, this sucks, be like, nope, It's great. It's fine. Now, does it mean that I didn't honor that fear that they were having? No, I did. I totally acknowledged it. And I was like, it's totally, yeah, it's really hard to do things that are new. It's really hard to do things like when we feel a little nervous that we're being seen. And like I kept like even in the beginning, I was like, well, just go and try and see, like you probably don't have to do the play if you don't want to. Like you can just go and have fun. Because she wanted to do all the practicing stuff. She just was afraid of the play at the end. And there was like 100 people there watching. So it wasn't like a little tiny crowd. Like they had a pretty good little crowd. I don't even think, here's the thing. I don't even think you have to be thankful for what you have in that thing. Like I literally through all of my manifesting, I mean, I am grateful for the things that I have, but also I don't think that you have to because if you just literally persist in the belief, you create it. So like I would say like you can acknowledge that it's like, yeah, you don't necessarily have to like your job to be like, okay, but I have income. Like you to be like, oh my God, I'm so grateful I have this job can also be like a big stretch for your thought process. You have a problem with being seen. So I guess that's where the nervous comes in from that and why I push it away in a way. Yeah. Oh my God. That's a lot. That's a lot to go through. How do I get unwanted low vibrational spirits? Um, like So what they're feeding off of is fear, depression, those kind of spirits. That energy is they're attracted to like fear, depression, anxiety. So some of that goes into like just deciding like shifting your thought process, shifting your self-confidence, shifting that like your inner dialogue, really and truly. I know that sounds weird, but like the other thing is there's some spirits, like there's these little ones that we see that are I don't know if you see them. I've seen them. My mom actually mentioned it. She was like, oh, those exist. Like I thought I was just sick when I was little. They're like little dark black blobs and they have bright red eyes. And so like because it's not like a normal human thing to see, right? Or nobody really talks about it. It's scary, but they're really just like they're and then they kind of feed on that negative energy, that scary energy. You just literally have to be like, no, go away. This is my boundary. This is it. And it's also about creating a belief system around you. Like I am safe. I am, I no longer have these energies around me. Like even if they're around, they sort of are no longer attracted to my energy. It's like creating that system. You can for sure. I don't sage. I would use frankincense in that case. And you can use like make like a salt spray. You can use salt around your home, or if you need like things, selenite works great for clearing energy, and black tourmaline works great. Anything dark and like heavy, so like smoky quartz, black tourmaline, obsidian, those are always great for like removing negative energy. And so like for like I would say I would stretch it to 3 weeks, do 21 days, because that actually is where 21 days is where you're going to really get the shift. And so anytime you have like a thought come up where you're like, nothing is ever working out for me, you're like, nope, the truth is everything always works out for me. Everything always works out in my favor. Everything always works out best case scenario. So like literally reframe that in the moment and keep saying it until like you sort of move away from that and you stabilize that negative thought, that feeling of nervousness or anxiety. Those are the old belief systems coming up. Yeah. I feel like 3 weeks because I feel like that's it's still doable. It's all this is going to do is teach you how to pay attention to your belief systems and your thought process and that inner dialogue. And and the reason why I say this is if our beliefs create our reality, and like you can go and look at how many people are talking about Neville Goddard and how many people teach about Neville Goddard. And this is not something like this is like in other um, religions and things like that. It's even though Neville Goddard thinks it's just a thought process. There's so many people that teach this. There has to be something to it. Tropical Empress is talking about it. If our beliefs create our reality, then you have to also reprogram it. And sometimes that means in the moment is just affirm, affirm, affirm. I've got it already, it's already written up. I have to I have to go in and fix some stuff I'm just redoing like y'all know I'm revamping everything. There's going to be a free handout with 5 manifestation techniques. If you are subscribed, it will go in like out in an email for you to link to. If you're not subscribed, then you should subscribe and you can download it for free. But, and Tropical Empress is telling her story, so we'll go back and read it. But my point to you is like you sort of have to persist and just decide like I am no longer going to live in this state of mind of like it doesn't mean that you totally negate and you're not like, well, things are hard. It's okay to recognize when things are hard, or it's okay to recognize that things aren't perfect, because that's also how you see like the opposite of what the possibility is. And if somebody has something you want, try and shift from about like, oh, well, they get it and I don't. Try and be like, oh, that means you can place a meaning on anything. Oh, that means it's coming in for me. That means that's coming in for me. Not like, oh, it's happening for them, but it's not happening for me. I've been in both of those places. And I'm telling you, when you shift the meaning of it, it means it's coming in for me. It's a way better state to live in. And B, it also brings it in faster. Okay, so I'm going to honor. So I'm not doing any more. I'll do a general question, meaning like what's going on in the world, or if you have something about like manifesting or whatever you want to ask about. But I'm not doing any like personal questions now because I'm actually trying to get off of here. I've been on here over 2 hours. Okay, let's read her story. Slow. She says, I was forced to sell my home over a year ago, and my husband lost his job. He almost died twice in 6 months period as 2. When I was forced to sell my home, I didn't like it, but I knew everything was going to be okay. And that's the belief system. Even if I don't like this, I know it's going to be okay. That's a really great belief system to have, by the way. I even knew that at the time the housing market wasn't the best to sell a house, but it didn't matter to me. I focused on the outcome will be good and there will be much better things coming. That's persisting. My house got listed, and less than 3 weeks later, my house was sold for top dollar that my house was listed for. Fabulous. I temporarily rented a house for a year to get ourselves together. I was able to build a brand new home for less than what you can buy an older home for in the busy big city. Congratulations. Now we are living in a brand new home for 2 months now. I'm very happy. Our lives are much happier, healthier, and we have income to pay our bills that we didn't have when he lost his job. That's awesome. Congratulations. And I also hope that his health is better. That also means that. Weather in Toronto, what's happening with all of the flooding? We had major flooding in July and now in August as well. Yes, Ali, good job. There's a system. I honestly, I don't watch enough of the weather, so please don't think that can I ask about manifestation coming in? I guess so. Itchy nose. It's like there's a system, like a itchy nose, like stuck over that area. I feel like it'll be a drier September. I wanna say that because it's like I there's something about October being a wetter October, but I don't feel like flooding, but I feel like September is quiet. It just feels like it's just the way the weather patterns hit is the feeling I get, like, it doesn't it feels like, there's like La Nina and El Nino and all of that stuff. It just feels like but I feel like it's something that starts with a B, but it just feels like they're just showing me like it's the way something's tilted or shifted right now, and it's like it's not like, oh my god, it's going to be like this now every July and August. It's like a once in a thousand year thing or something like that. But I feel like September is going to be drier. Like I feel like weather-wise you're going to be dry. And that is a great validation for manifesting, by the way, tropical. I am agreeing with Julia. So, what is your question, Chicky? You're welcome. Maybe write down what you want to manifest on the night of the full moon. I think it's tonight. No, it's Monday because I asked about it. I was like hoping to be at the beach for it. And burn the piece of paper you want really. The other thing is like here's the other thing is like I think we forget about this is like just say it like I'm ready for this. I'm allowing this to come in. Sometimes we need to figure out that it's like okay to give yourself permission to have these good things come in, especially when you've struggled for a long time and you feel like it's just been rough and I've had these belief systems for a long time. Giving yourself permission is really important, that it's okay for you to have those. Oh, so like you're asking if you have, okay. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to answer that psychically. What I'm going to tell you is because that is like around manifestation. If you're asking the question, then you're having doubt. And so now you need to double down. So you need to shift something around money beliefs, right? So because if we're looking at manifesting, if we're looking at belief systems and we're looking at, because I go by the law of assumption, not the law of attraction. So my beliefs create my reality. So if I'm going, well, I'm manifesting it, and then I'm like, but is it coming? Then you haven't settled on it. You need to like go back and be like, of course it's coming. Of course it's mine. Of course I have this money. If you won the lottery, or let's put it this way, I'm going to put it into like a more logical thing because people are like, fucking won the lottery, whatever. Like if you're going to get a paycheck when you go to work, like you don't get it every day, but like you don't get it when you walk in the door, but every 2 weeks I'm like money comes to me every 2 weeks I get paid, or my husband gets paid weekly, get paid every week I get paid. You don't sit there on Monday going like, well, where's my money? Why isn't it coming to me? Where is it? You're just like, oh, you just know it. I get paid when I go to work. So like when you're doing manifestation, you sort of have to go like, I know money comes to me. I know it's coming to me easily. I literally will like, it's really weird because I'll pick random numbers and I'll forget about it. And then like my husband will come home with a bonus and be like, here, look what I got. And it's the number I said. So I'm always like, oh, that's interesting. I want to figure out how to get it with my name on it instead of his, because that's my goal. But like, the money's there. So you have to just decide money's mine. I've got it. It's done. So like, say you're trying to manifest, $500, like, let's go, like, it's not an unreasonable amount. Like some people, like if you aren't used to making $10,000 at a heap or getting a $10,000 check in one flush, or a $300,000 check in one flush, whatever, it's like, it's insane to go to that. Your brain can't go there. So if you're asking me here, then it's, you need to go and like, and I'm telling you with the manifesting stuff, I look at readings, honestly, is I'm not doing anything magical. I'm reading the energy of where you're at right now and the direction it's going. So I feel like I'm reading possibilities. So it's like, if you do this, this is what I see happening. If you do this, this is what I see happening. But if you don't like what I say, guess what? Shift your energy. You can create you literally can create the world you want. So I can tell you that manifestation isn't coming because of the way you asked it. There's doubt there. Does it mean it's in a holding pattern somewhere? Sure. But like when you go and order something, when I order food, I don't think like, well, is it going to be there when I show up? Now, I mean, one time it wasn't there when I showed up, but I just didn't put the thing forward, but I didn't like finish ordering online, but whatever. You need to learn to alchemize, take all the negative energy and transmute it into something positive. Who's you? You as a collective, you as in me, you as in Chicky. And alchemizing is a simple term for saying like, here's an easy way to switch it. So even when something seems negative, you can be like, oh, that just means that this is coming. Like, so you can decide like with Allie's job, not getting that job, she could decide that that means like, oh, I never get a job. Right. Or she could decide, oh, that just means the one's coming in. Like that's like the next job that I apply for is mine. That's all that means. I have a friend who's trying to working on selling her apartment. It's sold. And manifesting for her. Other people's apartments were going up for sale after hers and getting and scooped up. And she's like, but I want to know when it's my time. And it's like, instead of thinking like, when is it my turn? Think, oh, that just means mine's going next. Oh, collective. Okay. So it's really about adjusting your thought process and creating the belief system around it to help you manifest it. Yeah, changing your belief. Allie, I just thought about that. You had said like you're afraid of being seen, like you don't want to be seen. Like I want you to really think about that. If you don't want to be seen, then do you think that you'll be really seen and showing up in your interviews and in your when your resumes are out there? It's like, oh, I don't really like. So like that's where our really belief systems really it's important to work on that because energetically you put stuff out there. And I'm saying this as someone who before I really understood all of this, people could send me a text message and I'd be like, oh, they're pregnant. Had nothing to do with them being pregnant, had nothing to do with it was just like I just knew it. So your energy goes with you even if it's not about the topic you're talking about. I think we're gonna have a big thunderstorm. Oh, we got our Wi-Fi changed. Has it been better today? We had the guy come out yesterday. He had to change the wire from the pole outside of our house and then had to get us a new like. Connection is great today. Yay. I just did the Gen X raise the roof. I knew my landlord was going to put my rent up, and I said, yes, that's fine because I have the money and it will work in our favor. He said 300 more. And I thought, eek, but said, we'll find it. The letter arrived and it was only 95. Ah, yes. So I also want to say is like, as you're doing this, there's this idea, especially when you hear people talk about like, you have to do this, you have to do that. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, give yourself space to not be perfect at it right away or ever. Like it's a skill. It's a practice. And so like, just be gentle on yourself as you're going through. It's like, oh, okay, I didn't get that right that time. How can I do it better next time? Like, it's okay. And I want to say this, balance doesn't look like this. Balance looks like this. Remember that. Like, this is stagnant perfectly, like this is never changing, but we are always changing. Things are always changing in our lives. So it looks like this when you watch, scales balancing out. It doesn't hold like this forever. because things change. You step off of a scale, like, you know, the scale at the doctor's office, they use the little things across the top. They don't use, you know, electric scales, and it looks like this. And the minute you shift your weight slightly, it changes. So you have to shift back, like, and if you step off, it goes like this. So it's like things change in your life, and this is ever changing. And I do beat a dog, what do they call it? Beating a dead horse. All the Libras. Okay. So I need to go because I have got things to do. And I've been on here 2.5 hours. And my family's probably like, did you get lost? So I'm going to say good night. You guys have a fabulous week. And thank you. Perhaps I will be back next week. Don't count on it, but keep an eye out just in case. If you're subscribed to my email, you'll get an email about it if I come on. Or if you're following me over on Instagram, I always post something there to say like I'll be live or not. So you can check it out there. I will see y'all, if not next Sunday, the Sunday after. Have a good one. And that's Labor Day weekend, but screw it because we don't have any plans anyway. Have a good one.